Good afternoon. Welcome back to Air Radio Sol Yeruna Spin. Today, 15th December 2021. As usual, Monday to Friday. The bulletins from our beloved country, Banjul, the Gambia. We start with Standard Newspaper, the headline on Standard Newspaper. The first story on Standard Newspaper, UDP petitions, Barrow over election fraud. Ask court to declare polls invalid. Then, Gambia participates, demand anti-corruption bill now. Government announces bread price at $7 per loaf. GRA trains staff to modernize operations. Then, GMC considered suing IEC for contempt. Dabo called for end to Q-Cell boycott campaign. Car Powership gives over $500,000 to Faraba Kairaba. Let me expand. Faraba Kairaba SAF, SAFE. And also, doctors stages surgical camp in Basse. So far, those are the headlines from Standard Newspaper. Let's see Point Newspaper. Point Newspaper not yet updated. So let's continue with Standard Newspaper from the first story. The first story is UDP petitions Barrow over election fraud. Asks court to declare polls invalid. Now the news in detail by Omar read by Hajadama Air Radio Sal Geruna, Spain. Now the details. The opposition Democratic Party yesterday filed a petition at Supreme Court urging the Apex Court to nullify the December 4th presidential election due to alleged corrupt practices by Adama Barrow and his National People's Party. The petition obtained by the Standard showed the UDP alleging that President Adama Barrow and members of his National People's Party bribed voters by giving them money, cooking utensils, and milling machines. Elsewhere in the petition, the party alleged that non-citizens were inserted in the register of voters in the length and breadth of the country. The UDP also complained about a wide range of issues, including the turning away of voters for non-wearing of masks, refusal to supply contest result to UDP agents at some of the counting centers, reopening of polls for voting after the official closure of at 5 p.m., continuation of voting into the night for up to midnight, widespread appearance of residents non-Gambians to vote in the elections, widespread appearance of people across the borders from both northern and southern Senegal to vote in the election, and numerous complaints relating to lack of transparency in the election process. The party also complained that chiefs and governors were engaged in the campaign to support Barrow's candidature and that the election was invalid by reason of hate speech against the Mandinka tribe and in order to induce fear in the voters against the petitioners. When it became the campaign slogan of the NPP that if UDP wins the election, Wolofs, Serer, the Fulas, and the other ethnic minorities will be expelled from the country. The UDP also claimed that the IEC and NPP conspire to observe renowned supporters of the NPP as presiding officers to supervise the election. They identify such people like Fabakar Sise, Jambur, Fansu Sambu, Brikama, Usman Mane, Kemuje, Ramatullah Bajinga, Brikama, Umi Hydra, Brikama, Welingara, Rose Base Lamin, Nyara So, Sibanor Lamin K Jawara Farato Malik Jamme Kembuje LSA Jata Sifo Lamin M Mane Brikama Amadou Sane Brikama Alassane Bah Basse Alfoussine Jajusi Nyofele Fatou Jamme Kloro and Fabakar Giba Ndemban. The party alleged that the NPP, in an attempt to induce voters distributing cooking utensils in Kembujeng, or Kachang rather, Badibu, Kontekunda Badibu, Sabah Sanjal Badibu, and Sarakunda Badibu, and Ker Bamba. The party said Barrow and his NPP were engaged in giving financial inducement to voters throughout the country during political campaign. They said these corrupt practices violated Section 116 of the Election Act, which renders the elections invalid. The UDP also alleged that the corrupt practices the UDP alleged carried out on behalf of President Barrow or with his knowledge and by person acting with his authority. The party argued that the IEC did not permit its agents to be present when the ballot boxes were sealed on the morning before the commencement of the polls, and that Alkalul village heads presence at some polling stations throughout the day was condoned by IEC officials, adding that in Basse, General Ensa Baji appeared at the polling station and ordered the IEC to reopen the polling station for those who came late. The UDP also argued that polling stations such as Busumbala Mission School, Old Yundum and Sukuta were congested and the IEC did not provide enough booths, and that UDP agents at the IEC were merely given a fax copy. Meanwhile, legal sources told the Standard that Mr. Barrow has about 21 days to respond to the petition, after which a date will be appointed for hearing it ends. Stay tuned. Don't go away. We'll be back momentarily after a short jingle, then in Mandinka. Ya assalamualaikum balolo kal kontong al token lol nal kontong kendola nal bari mala yalo me ya radio spin banko kang sal sa to kono ana ki waro fanda la men finda na banko kang b standard ye mem bon because volota num point le bari ol mang update kila online people follow so nga continue standard la headline ol fale den nimboro nga men krang into details no fana fale ki bar follow men findita kungoto ko UDP petition o ke pro Barrow election fraud men aketa banko kang ko nyaji be santeng ye kitiblangi nin kako pro is a pool men keta banko kang isa annular olem kadron ka nullified ka ta ka tutu ka tugo nyaje ko jenko wala keta nyin carte fa men keta polling station do kamala polling station nyanta ka nullified ka continue hanbi kibar ko la karanta la ka men ye Gambia participant o le kanindro ke anti corruption bilo sansensa ya yanda kadida anim fanan GMC ko bi ajibe kan prosi kit inu samba kitela membe ko IEC komen e komenke ka continue la konta na balia ko IEC barta men nay dabo e komandro ke ko for the end to komen kadandro ke ko UDP la parti sympathizer pour be boycotto men ke kan skiusel ko campagne ning ya dandi kana continental men marta courant la masingom belorem ba kono kulungo kono banjun feri terminal ma fangale ka foy ka pawsi ol fane ko do di men da kanya million talante o wuli kemelul ka ya di faraba ko faraba kaira sefo ya di wolel sefe ya di wolel la comme kafonyum tomolti doctorol men comme santen ko kol dati de membe ko surgical wala farlo campo membe basse camp in basse comme yole londi jeto ba keka ka continue hansai fenke minister men marsa safaro la Gambia banko kan tres ako ay men kankula wolen ako mburo sai mburu kungobe wafi la Gambia banko kan dalasi warawla jiare nyatanka kanen la fana yela staffol karandi nyin kukutol la pro ila doku nya abe kila modern doku nyati nyame ka mena modernize seasonal operation ka modernize ka kuta man so sai wala mu kibarol men findo standard so nga dole kibar follow nyin kono men UDP petition ko pour BARROW election fraud men ketaten o comme asi jabiro ke nyin tili muwanni kilon kono o kiti la nyin anyanda ka fanan yo fanan kanin wol bulu ko in carte fo nyanda ka atutu ka to fay ku ka continue me kibaro sa fe wala mu Omar Bati me ma karangang la jadama e radio Spain banko kan salsa kono ko opposition United Democratic Party kunung yela petition ta ya sambale Supreme Court kitil bunda bel nyaton ko in dingra pro sinaje ko isayin carte fo ta ka tutu iko menketa December karo tili tang tili nanola yimbe men tambita tangi lokum flow men tambita ko ni election ko men niaji be kulel dunta kono membe ko tumirola karola jenko ye men tamandi je ko men Adam Barrow anala partiyo nyimme ka fa National People's Party ko nyin kanindro men yaketen ko nyin kayto men saveta petition nyin standard benki bar bunda men karang kanteng ya jele ko UDP ay tumirol men la ko men president Adam Barrow anim falang members of ala National People's Party ko men ala molte men be do ko la ala partiyo nyin ko yedugol di carte failal ko men kodo men anim fana cooking utensil ne mo tabir joran anin mil masin turla masin te men masin ka taman ko la ko don fana do petition ko no ne agibe patiyon ye tumiro ka ko men tata fo mo jama men manke Gambia deulti men bulandi mo la register voter register ni kono ko men banko karobe la tu nin kun anin karanin kara ko UDP na men kalami fana wala nginti ko nyin keta kulete men a warta baba ke ko la men be denning ne agibe turning away kamol murundi carte failal men ko imang nyin COVID-19 na fo mask min ka damur lawta anin nungu wala ne balanta manson carte fa yemurun anin ka balam fana ka soplao ke fenna membe ko resulto men fentita pulling counting center dolto pour UDP la agentol manson ka soplao de la o kaito nyinna UDP la agentol anin fana ina puli agentol dol fana jela kotake damen carte fao keta jeto and after the officials close coming ka bring telelul tambita wala mu official coming kabo 8 o'clock so manda fo telelul coming anyanta dana wato men wari ko na continue le carte fight la dol to fo suto talanteo ko niaji be widespread appearance and fana men na ke landa tamboti men fintitanon men manke Gambia dingulti kana carte fawala in election o men ketaden anin fana men na ke landa tambote ka findi molla karola men banko mumeo bekan kanana banko karobe la bodal dun lalla membe ko north and south wala mum ndolia ma fonla aning kiam ma fonla safo o nyama ndolka kuman nyamin southern and northern wala mu Senegal fongo nyinde oriental aning Casamance o ma fon min bu vota min nata karto fay na banko kan anin fana mo jamal fanan ya complain ko membe den ning Sénégal baliala ñing carte fa o atamande ñala katente fana ko pati ñin na kalamro ko fana ko sevol governol wol na dung ne ajibe campagne o fanga kono pour que BARROW la candidature ñi tata ko support ko fasa ñi election ñi comme o fanga dama atina ko ñi o daylo ko ñi kol fana na finti o kono kaje ko hate speak wala konnanti adiamo men yake mandinka siyo ñinna ani vanan in order to induce wala ñinte ton projet silandro keno molla men ñanta ka karto fay pour ñi men ye petition o keten woliye comme wala UDP di anin parti koton ko en sa foto men yewol muta UDP di dal ko it became comme inna ke fenati akete la campagne den kilolti comme e kamen kankula wala itul NPP pour UDP parti o niwol ye karto win Gambia bankoka ko ni ajibe wolofolu wolofolu anin sererolu kata fulol teng anin ñin sikotonlu ñin sikotonlu ko ibewol bayla Gambia bankokan wala kete la ñin campagne fangoti Gambia bankokan karrifa watol ka continue ko UDP be ñin fokan ko be claim kan ko IC anin NPP ina ta kafu ñoma pour men mu molti men tobota NPP patio kono ina dawle ke molti men be loron polling station o Jamal kunne ka men presiding official thing comme ka polling station o kanta ko election o watol e ko naaji be ye mol men suute o mol kono men be ko fa Bakar Cissé Jambour anin Fansu Sambu Brikama Usman Mane Kembuje Ramatullah Bajinga Brikama Umi Hydra Brikama Wellingara Rose Base Lamin Nyara So Sibanor Lamin Ke Jawara Farato Malik Jamme Kembuje LSA Jata Sifo Lamin M Mane Brikama Amadou Sane Brikama Alasana Ba Base Alfusen Jajusi Nyofele Fatu Jamme Kloro an Fabakar Giba Ndemban ka continue ko pati ñi tumiro la ko NPP in an attempt comme ka pare ko la ka men ken ka ta ka diro ka fon la men ko votasol comme men carte failal ko talaro ki fon la ye men di le ka men tabir joranlu sa tawol men be ko badib kacang konta kunda badibu sawa sanjal badibu sare kunda sara kunda fanan badibu anin cer bamba iko patiyajing ay même fo wolem BARROW anin ala NPP ino dunda ko dol fana gon men ka kodo di pour mon na don ka soton droge carte failal la pour mon na banko kan wato men na political campaign obe kering iko yemen fo fana ko tagi ko jenko men atamata nyin ko kono o mu fennedi ay lualtinya luabunda men abe loring na na election bunda nyinto anyonta ka tamandi nyamen loi bunda me ka fu keme tang aning woro ni ye ma nyamen keto ni corrupt practices ni we wole tinya o act ni ko niaji be ni fam mukulati ay nyin election a rendale ko ma mume o betale a tinya a janjang ko men amang beti akoto ke ka men na invalid ko men carte fa o men keta Gambia banko kan ni corrupt practices o men keta ko men la complain do iko nyaji be UDP na tumuro ke fana ko men jenke jawo me ya keten ko men ka fengo di molla ko men be men complain kan ko of where allegedly ko men tumuro la karola men aketa nyaji be on behalf of the president ko men ya ke president la kole kan o ay kalamuta sokke nyun koto labe ke kan nyame anim fanan by passing ko ata fong acting ko men abe loring abe tamandro kekan ko men ata fong la sembo men babul ko continue ko patiyo nyin balanda nyin na ko that IEC did not permit a sonkata ñinna ko IC man song pour ka UDP la pooling agentol pour ye present wato menna boxol carte fay boxol ibe silla wato menna julola o tampo ñinna pour ise mabe jeto somanda juno wato menne iba kekan yannin carte fawo ñimbe datla pooling stationol anim fana alkalol men be satol nyaton kalol fana nadna tara pooling station jamato tilo mume la ko mu fennati IC be lafri menna because ya condone e ma complain ila official natna lafaro ke fananko ni o yibo kata ma fawo menna wala mbaseti ka fo general ensa baji o fanan natna findinan police station ko ay order di kango di ko IC na carte fay korda ni nyanta ka police station yele kotake pour mol menu leta pour fanan sina carte fay kotak e ko UDP natna ñing quota ka balang la membe ko polling station such as busum balang isongata ol quality ko busum balala mission school aning all yundum aning sukuta ko daming mo siata jela fa tambi alande tambita IC manana pour ka carte fay botol teng mol ka dum bol men kono ka carte fay manana ko sotoni anim fana balanta pour ka atel UDP la agentol teng inatana muneke manna copy original dila membe den carte fawla kolla muneke fax copy yole sika ya dila because amanke original be ko ni yo fanan sonka jeto ko bandla ko nyin tembola nyajibe legal sources comme nyin sandadi mensodo loyal la carola ko baro anyanta ka nyin kuma kawo men fotateng o nyin tumirol men kreteng keno babulu tilo babulu fo karo sabron tilimwan anin kilen kabo lumen petition nyin keta pura si jabiro ke nyin petition so no batala lungo binalon la lumen kitidula be la moyla nyin kitio nyinna membe den nyin tumirol so ala baraka anal badi mala jadama ayila moy jinkulol domanni after sinana murna nyata kotege but different segment